In the spring of 1980, a crowd gathered outside Philadelphia to watch the end of White Marsh Hall. This was a private residence with more than 100 rooms, built with French limestone and craftsmanship usually associated with royalty. When the charges detonated, the stone skeleton seemed to hold its breath for a heartbeat before gravity took control and the roof folded inward. The demolition crew was clearing land for a suburban subdivision. They spent weeks reducing the mansion to rubble, hauling away fragments of stone that had taken years to carve, all to prepare the ground for ordinary streets and driveways. Between the Civil War and the turn of the century, the richest families in America built a landscape of real stone castles. These were palaces designed to last for generations, yet within a few decades, the country began intentionally dynamiting them down to the foundations. These houses were the physical result of the Gilded Age. In the decades after the Civil War, industrial barons accumulated fortunes from railroads, steel, and banking at a speed the country had never seen before. For these self-made men, a grand house functioned as essential social infrastructure. It was a tool to broadcast rank and pull the right people into their orbit. A 60-room mansion and formal gardens made alliances, business deals, and marriages possible by signaling that the owner belonged at the top of the hierarchy. This chart shows the competitive arithmetic of social dominance. If a rival executive finished a house with 30 rooms, his competitor responded with 40. Status was proven through visible luxury, forcing a continuous escalation of room counts and estate acreage. On Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, this competition turned the street into a physical ledger of wealth. Families lined the avenue with connected palaces, each facade fighting to overshadow the next with imported marble halls and French Renaissance stonework. These architectural declarations were engineered to project permanence. They stood as stone proof that their owners had conquered American industry, though the economic rules that made them possible were already beginning to shift. Operating a palace required a massive, invisible infrastructure. It took an army of housekeepers, cooks, and security personnel to run the rooms, alongside a constant flow of coal to heat high-ceilinged halls and a rotating schedule of specialists to repair aging stone and gilded plaster. The financial viability of these estates ended as the tax code changed. In 1913, the federal government introduced the income tax. By 1935, the top marginal rate reached 79%. As this graph shows, the cost of keeping the lights on eventually overtook the after-tax income required to pay for them. New inheritance taxes added to the burden. When the family patriarch died, heirs often faced a choice between selling income-producing businesses or keeping a money pit that actively drained their remaining liquid wealth through annual property taxes and upkeep. The ultimate symbols of American success had converted into paralyzing financial liabilities. A house with 100 rooms became a trap that could push even a wealthy family toward bankruptcy. When families could no longer find buyers or institutions willing to take on the maintenance bills, they reached a limbo phase. They dismissed the staff, covered the furniture in sheets, and simply walked away. Without active maintenance, the palaces surrendered to the weather. Rain seeped through failing roofs, rotting the floors, and causing ornate plaster to drop in heavy chunks, while empty ballrooms turned into targets for vandalism. By the 1950s, the demand for suburban housing reshaped the map. Real estate developers saw no value in decaying architecture, but the hundreds of acres of prime land sitting beneath these estates offered a massive financial opportunity. This aerial map shows the suburban transition. A developer could buy a ruined mansion and its acreage, flatten the site, and lay out streets for dozens of individual homes. This process effectively reallocated the landscape. Where a single family had once occupied 100 rooms, hundreds of families now lived in compact ranch houses and split levels, filling the old estate grounds with neighborhood lawns and driveways. A tiny fraction of these mansions survived into the current century. Their existence usually depended on a combination of geographic isolation and owners who acted before the physical decay became irreversible. Most survivors were saved only after the families surrendered private ownership. Estates like the Breakers in Newport were transferred to preservation trusts and historical societies, which opened them to the public to generate the revenue needed for repairs. Today, these houses function as time capsules. They are climate-controlled and roped off, entirely stripped of the daily routines and private parties they were originally built to house. This created an enduring irony. The only way to save these private monuments to individual wealth was to convert them into public assets. For the majority of the demolished palaces, the original stone foundations still exist. They sit buried beneath suburban lawns, marking a footprint that most current residents never see. Other forms of Gilded Age wealth proved more durable. While the houses fell, fortunes converted into public goods survived, like the art collections donated to the National Gallery, or the endowments that built universities. These estates were built as private tools for a specific family's power. Once that family could no longer maintain the system, the buildings lost their purpose. Without a public function to justify the massive cost of their existence, the rest of society simply chose not to carry the burden. Wealth can buy French limestone, but it cannot guarantee that the next generation will care about the walls. A building only survives as long as people choose, day after day, to keep it standing.